Bristol Community College, Mathematics with Dan Avedikian, Math 132, Calculus with Applications, Section 14.2, Problem 3. This is Section 14.2, problem number 3. It says, Lucille makes fitness videos and posts them on YouTube. She just happens to know that the number of minutes in length the exercise video is and the number of views it will have on YouTube is related by the function f of x equals 5,000 minus x cubed plus 72x squared plus 300x, where x is the number of minutes in length of the video. No one's really sure how Lucille came up with this function. Legend has it that she got it in a fortune cookie from the Oriental Pearl restaurant on Route 6 in Westport. So, Part A says, if Lucille makes a fitness video that is an hour long, how many views will the video get on YouTube? And there's a little reminder that there are 60 minutes in an hour. You can't put in one for 1 hour because the function will think that one is for 1 minute. You have to remember to convert the 1 hour to 60 minutes. So for the answer to Part A, put in 60 for x in the function that's given. So we will have f of 60 equals, so I'm going to have 5,000 minus x cubed will become minus 60 cubed. Then plus 72x squared will become plus 72 times 60 squared. Then plus 300x will become plus 300 times 60. So let's do the math for that. So the 5,000 is easy. I'll just move down 5,000. Minus 60 cubed. So we have to do 60 times 60 times 60. So those are really big numbers. So I'll just do 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Put the 3 zeros that I ignored back after the 216. So I'm going to have 216,000. The next piece is a little tougher. 72 times 60 squared. You have to do the 60 squared first, so 60 times 60 will be 3,600. And then 3,600 times the 72 in front. Well, 3,600 times 72 comes out to 259,200, which I will check in just a sec. And the piece on the end, 300 times 60, again, a lot of big numbers there. Just ignore the zeros for a minute. 3 times 6 is 18. You ignore 3 zeros, put the 3 zeros back. 18 with 3 zeros is 18,000. Let me check that middle one. So I have to do 60 times 60 first. 3,600 times 72 is 259,200. So now I can combine my positives and negatives. Notice the 216,000 is negative. All the others are positive. So I'll put the 5,000 and 18,000 together first is 23,000. Add it to the 259,200 would be 292,200, I think. And again, I'll just check that to make sure. If I add my positives together, is 282,200. I'm going to subtract off the 216,000. I think that's 66200. I'll check it. And it is, I think that's what I said, 66200, which would be 66,200. So what this tells us is if Lucille makes a 60-minute long or 1 hour long fitness video based on the length of time, it will get 66,200 views on YouTube. Part B says, how long should the video be in minutes to get the most possible views on YouTube? So what we have to do is start with the function that's given in the question. So again, the function was f of x equals 5,000 minus x cubed plus 72x squared plus 300x. And we want to maximize it. We want to find the value of x that gives the biggest outcome, which means we want to take the first derivative, set it equal to 0, and solve for x. So the derivative, I'm going to go f prime of x equals, well, the 5,000 has no x with it. So its derivative is 0. I can just let that drop out. Now the next piece, minus x cubed, has a derivative of negative 3x squared. Now where that's coming from is the exponent of 3 comes down times the number in front, which isn't written but assumed to be 1. And it's a negative 1 actually. So 3 times negative 1, there's my minus 3. X to 1 less power, so the third power drops down to a second power. So the next piece now, 72x squared, would have a derivative of 144x to the first. Now again, where that comes from is the exponent of 2 comes down times the number in front of 72. 2 times 72, there's my 144. X to 1 less power, so that second power drops down to a first power. And now the 300x at the end has a derivative of 300. And again, when you have an x to the first power, its derivative is the number in front, which in this case is 300. So there's my derivative. The next step is set it equal to 0. So I'm going to have negative 3x squared plus 144x plus 300 equals 0. And next I solve. There's a value for x that makes this equation true. And there's actually 2 values for x that make it true. Because I have an x squared, I'm looking for 2 values, 2 solutions. Now, in order to find that, I need to factor it. To factor it, every piece is something times 3. So I'd like to pull out a 3. And in fact, if I'm going to factor out a 3, I'd really like to factor out a negative 3 because I like the leading term, the x squared, to be positive. So let's go ahead and write negative 3 and make some parentheses. So when I take out a negative 3 times what is negative 3x squared? Well, times x squared. And then negative 3 times what is 144x? Well, it would be plus 48x. Negative 3 times 48x will make 144x. And here's why I have to be careful with the signs. It's a negative 48x. And then negative 3 times what is 300? It'd be times 100. And again, because of the negative 3 being pulled out, it's minus 100. Negative 3 times minus 100 is positive 300. So now what's left in the parentheses, the x squared minus 48x minus 100, can be broken into 2 separate factors. So the minus 3 in front can ride along in front for a little while. And I'm going to set up 2 sets of parentheses. I still have an equals 0 at the end. And I'm going to go x, x. Now I want 2 numbers to multiply to make 100 and add or subtract somehow to make a negative 48. So there's a lot of options, like 5 times 20 is 100, 4 times 25 is 100, 100 times 1 is 100. But I want to combine them somehow to make a 48. Well, what works nice is a 2 and a 50. 2 times 50 is 100, and 50 minus 2 is 48. So those are the factors I'm going to want, a 2 and a 50. Now, I have to figure out how to work the signs on the 2 and the 50. So the 100 is negative, so I'm going to have a positive 1 and a negative 1 for sure. Now, the result is negative 48. So if I make the 50 negative and the 2 positive, that should FOIL out to give me back the value I started with. So if I FOIL x plus 2 times x minus 50, the result will come out to x squared minus 48x minus 100. So that's the correct factoring. 2 factors, 2 solutions. So the factor of x plus 2 gives me a solution of x equals negative 2. Again, if I put in a negative 2 where I have an x and do the math, I will get 0 equals 0. It makes the equation true. And then the other factor gives me the other solution. If x minus 50 is a factor, then the solution is x equals 50. So again, where I have an x, if I put in a 50, do the math, this factor zeroes out times the other stuff, it will give me a true result, 0 equals 0. So my possible answers are a video that's negative 2 minutes in length or a video that's 50 minutes in length. Well, you can't have a negative 2-minute video. It's not sensible for the application in this case. So the answer is the number of minutes in length for the video that's going to give you the most number of views is a 50-minute video. So that's what we found. Now the final question, part C, says, what is the maximum number of views that Lucille will get for her fitness video? So what we want to do is put in a value of 50 for x in the function and do the math and see what we get. So f of 50, well, let's write out f of x from the beginning. Just f of x equals 5,000 minus x cubed plus 72x squared plus 300x. So that function is just given in the question. We didn't have to figure it out. We had that. Now what I want to do is put in a 50 wherever I have an x. So f of 50 equals 5,000 minus the x cubed becomes a 50 cubed. Plus 72x squared will be 72 times 50 squared. Plus 300x will be 300 times 50. So that's the math that I have to do. So the 5,000, there's no real work for that at this point. Just write 5,000 again. Now 50 cubed is 50 times 50 times 50 again. Well, because they're 50s, they're pretty big. Ignore the 0 just for a minute. 5 to the third power, 5 times 5 times 5 again is 125. Then put your zeros back. There was cubes, so 3 zeros. So it's 125 with 3 zeros after it is 125,000. And it's negative. And again, you could just do that on the calculator. I have certain tricks that I can use. So the next piece, 72 times 50 squared. So again, you have to do the exponent first. The 50 squared, 50 times 50 would be 2500, so 2,500, times the 72 in front. I think it's 18,000. Let me check that to be sure. So 50 times 50 is 2,500 times 72 is 180,000. I missed a 0. So plus 180,000. And then 300 times 50, again, very big numbers. Just focus on the 3 times 5 first. That's going to be a 15, and then put your 3 zeros back, so 15,000. So now I can combine my positives and my negatives. So positive 5,000, positive 180,000, positive 15,000. So if I put those together, that should be positive 200,000. And then you're going to subtract away from that 125,000. So 200,000 minus 125,000 comes out to 75,000. And I'll quickly just verify that with the calculator. So I'll put in 5,000 minus 125,000 plus 180,000 plus 15,000 is positive 75,000. So based on the function that we have, the most number of videos that, the most number of views that Lucille can get for a video is 75,000 views.